All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 56, talking about my 5 months of celibacy and what it has taught me. For anyone that doesn't know, celibacy, to start it off, celibacy is the choice of abstaining from any sexual activity, marriage, anything like that. Pretty much, that's the definition, right? But that's pretty much what the topic is for today. So I kind of wanted to get into that, and a disclaimer in the beginning as well. I'm not an incel, and for anyone who doesn't know what an incel is somebody who's involuntarily celibate. So this is a person who cannot get any sexual intimacy with a woman or with a man. They'd be deemed an incel, which I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those people. So I just want to make that very, very clear because I feel like people get this misconception that, oh, he can't. No, that's not what it is. It's not that I can't. It's I choose not to. So, with getting this started, me choosing not to is a choice. And I feel like a lot of men are either in one or two categories. They're either, sexually active or they're an incel for the most part, right? They're not in this between stage that I'm in. And I do believe that I will be in this stage in life a few times. Um, yeah, it's a lot different than what people are used to. Like I said, you're either on the end where you can't get sex, you can't get any sexual intimacy from a woman, or you can and you do, and you choose to go ahead and indulge within that, right? So I just find that interesting, and that is kind of the reason why I wanted to talk about today because men of my age do not choose to do this for the most part. Um, yeah, so that's how we're gonna go ahead and get it started. And I'll tell you a few things that have been the perks. I'll tell you a few of the things that have been the negatives, and kind of all in between. If you have any questions, make sure you go and leave them in the comments as well. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get it started. Give me 1 second. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started right now. Give me a second, fellas. All right, we don't choose to. What do you mean? We don't choose to. Anthony in the building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Your name's too damn long. I gotta move it. God damn, you're right. You damn right. We don't choose to. What do you mean? I don't know what that means. Um, I'm choosing to be celibate. I'm choosing to be celibate. I'm just gonna say that right now. Right. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and start it. Right. All right. So within this period of time, this has been about, like I said, about 5 months, almost 6 months now, actually. In this period of time, a lot of things in my life have changed. I've been learning a lot about myself, and anyone that knows me close knows that I've grown a tremendous amount within this year in general, as an entire year, as well as um, grown within this last 6 months a crazy amount. A lot of self development, a lot of choices made, a lot of paths chosen, and I definitely have enjoyed every single moment of this entire journey in itself. That's kind of what you have to do in life is pretty much just enjoy these moments. But yeah, I would say in this last few months, I've had the calmest energy that I've ever had. Um, I would say I've had the calmest energy, and I've had the most. What's a good way to describe it? I've had. I would say if I'm being transparent, I would say I've had lonely energy as well. But along with that, I've had my calmest energy, where nothing's really detracting from my focus, and that's something I'll talk about later as well. But just being focused, being present, and being okay with being alone. That is something that not a lot of men are okay with being alone. Even deep down, a lot of men will say that they're okay with being alone, and they're just kind of like accepting the fact that they can't get women, and that's different as well. I'm genuinely okay. What do you mean by lonely energy? Um, this is something that. What do you mean? What I mean by lonely energy, if I could describe it to you real quick, because this is something I was going to get into later. Um, you're laying down in bed and you wish you could be, just laying down with somebody, having conversation with somebody, right? Um, having that feminine energy. Yeah, pretty much having that feminine energy. not having the feminine energy is different existence for sure. And if you know me personally, which Anthony, you watch, and of course you know me personally, I've had my fair share of women, and I've had femininity next to me for a while now, and the longest period of time that I went without it was probably like a month, but this is like I said 6 months now where I've chosen to do this. But yeah, I've given myself this opportunity to, like I said, learn about myself, learn about my intentions, learn about what my focus is really like, learn about what I want to do with my life and how I want to do it and what type of man I want to be. So the clarity is something that I definitely get, I definitely have gotten from this experience. This experience in itself is what I would call monk mode, right? Monk mode, to describe it, this is something that if you're into self development, this is something that is I would deem to be a very very vital key, if chosen to do, that can really elevate your life and um, fast forward time. Honestly, fast forward time, fast forward progression, fast forward self development. And this is something that I've chosen to do. So monk mode is basically choosing a select few things that you're going to do consistently over a period of time, without distractions, or with as minimal of distractions as you possibly can have. And this has been my period of time. No partying. I'm not much of a partier, if you know me. In this period of time, no partying, no dealing with women, texting women occasionally, but even that's something that I'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, no, just choosing to spend my energy and really put that energy back into myself. Any energy that I have, or energy that I feel, um, like I said, even in that lonely energy, I put that back into myself and start working on something that I need to work on. So it's been interesting for sure. All right, yeah, monk mode. This is something that I would recommend for all men to do. Abstain from as many things that make you feel loose, or like leisure activities. Staying away from those. I can go down the list if you would like, of leisure activities to avoid within monk mode. I would say just minimal alcohol drinking, minimal smoking, minimal no at all. How should I phrase it? How should I phrase it for this podcast? Um, Man, how should I phrase it for this podcast, man? This is an interesting thing. I'll call it abstaining from selfish pleasures. That's what I will call it. And anyone that knows, I hope you can understand kind of what I'm inferring. But you know, no touching yourself, fellas. No touching yourself. If you want me to be a little bit more explicit with that, right? But staying away from all those things as much as you possibly can. Like I said, avoiding the distractions, avoiding the easy outs, the um the easy go tos to try to remove yourself from the current situation, the present moment. Um, Within this period of time, this is something monk mode. This is something that, like I said, you need to stay locked in. You need to be very conscious of your focus. You need to put the work in. Put the work in, and this is different than putting. This is definitely different than putting the work in. Like usually when you're doing these leisure activities, like this is some serious shit. Like this is putting in the hours into yourself. And I've had, like I said, plenty of opportunity, and I can speak on this. And this is an experience that I've had in life that, like I said, not many men can speak on, and I definitely can speak on. So I definitely will. Obviously, this is a Life of a Champ podcast, so you'll definitely get this side of me for sure. But getting into it, yeah, basically the retention of energy. That's something that I want to get into as well, which is kind of getting to the selfish desire, the selfish expression of desire, um, that is being a little monkey, essentially, right? And if you understand that, you understand that. Like I said, I explained it a little bit earlier, but yeah, that's what I'm gonna get into, right? Retention of energy, right? This There's this notion that this is okay in society, when in reality it's really not. You do not realize how valuable your masculine energy is until you've been releasing it over and over again to a phone, to a little screen with pictures on it, with video on it. Do not do this. And I can make if you need help for me to describe how stupid this is, I can easily do that. Because quite frankly, I can make it look and sound ridiculous because that's what it really is, realistically is, right? Retention of energy. Most men waste it. Become a man that is within the top 5% and do not waste your energy. It is easy. It's an easy out, but it is not the correct option. There's plenty of benefits on this, and there's plenty of research benefits and plenty of benefits that I've taken advantage of. And if you want to know more about that, I'll go ahead and let you know more about that. But try it for yourself. Go as long as you can and see how long you can go, right? This is something that I've mastered. Mastered. One of the few things that I have mastered in this life is being in control of the sexual demon. Demon time was what I like to call it. Yeah, pretty much. Being in control of that is something that that gives you a certain power, gives you a certain confidence, gives you a certain almost like chip on your shoulder, honestly. We're like, you know what, I'm not like these guys. I'm really, and that's what it really comes down to. I'm not like these guys. And I'm not saying that to be any type of way. I'm saying that because I observe my actions. I observe the actions of people around me. I observe the actions of many, many men across the world, and I see that they're not like me. And at the end of the day, fellas, this is something you need to take into account, right? You need to try to remove yourself from the majority. This is another one of those things that is removing me from the majority. So, definitely a habit that I picked up about 2 years ago, and I've been pretty successful when compared to people who have tried this for 2 years. That's for sure. So, shout out the champ. Shout out the champ. Come on now. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say on that. This has been a part of the monk mode, also the run of celibacy that I've had. All right. So, two things. You could easily waste your time, attention, energy, and focus on chasing women, right? Within this period of time. Like, come on now, Anthony. You already know what time it is, baby. You already know what time it is, man. You could easily waste your time, energy, focus. Yeah, you can easily waste your time, energy, and focus, as well as your attention on things that are less than what you want to be, right? And once you realize that, talking to women, and I would say this is a necessary sacrifice at certain points of time in your life. Right now, it is not a worthy sacrifice of mine that I'm willing to really, really, really do. KJ, was good with you, my dog. Appreciate you for stopping by. You missed out on a lot already, and we're only 20 minutes in. You basically only about 10 minutes in, 12 minutes in, 13 minutes in, something like that. You've already missed out on a lot, big dog. You're gonna have to rewatch this one. But I'll go over all of it again if you would like. Let me just get through everything real quick because I got a lot to talk about. But going back to what I was saying, I could easily waste my time, attention, energy, and focus on women. But here's the thing: I'm not willing to make the sacrifice for low quality women. The times that I have chosen to just even text women, I realize, and I talked to KJ about this the other day. I realize how much it detracts from my focus. And in this life, focus is so key. Is so key. What you focus on the daily is who you are as a person. It determines your actions. It determines the quality of man you are. And if you're focusing, and like I said, I'll admit that I was one of these people at one point in time where I'm just focusing on the validation from women. And this is not a healthy lifestyle at all. It's not. It is advertised to us like it is super desirable. And a person who's been through that, I can say that it is less than desirable. It leaves you feeling empty and drained. And it is not something that should be put up on a pedestal in any way, shape, or form, like it is right now in society. It is nothing more than, I think, is another scheme to really try to lower the vibration of the people around you. Oh, fuck, I can't see his message. What the shit? Give me a second, fellas. Exactly. And yeah, you hit it right on the nose right there. Shout out to Anthony with the fucking bars, baby. Come on now. It's more than just getting bread, baby. It's more than just getting bread. Bread is just a piece of the pie, baby. Come on now. But getting back into it, right? You gotta value the focus. Because if you don't value the focus, you're fucked. Honestly. And I say that just very, very softly, you're fucked. Right? So pay attention to what you're focusing on. Pay attention to what you're spending your time and energy on, right? Your energy is valuable. It's one of the most valuable things that you have is your energy on a daily basis. Do not be giving your energy. Do not be wasting your energy, like I mentioned earlier, on shit that isn't for you, that isn't going to help you gain. You had to come on now. So that's what I will say for that. So we're getting into this as well. This 5 month, almost 6 month period of celibacy has also led me to deal with my urges. Right, every single man watching this, every single woman watching this has your urges. They come randomly, they come in waves. And this is another one of these things that, I haven't really talked about too much, but this is something I'll get into because, like I said, I want to be transparent. This is Life of a Champ podcast. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the life of a champ, right? Dealing with the urges is something that not a lot of people talk about. And I've done the research. The men that are the most focused, the men that get things done the most in this world, the men that are the most accomplished, are able to control their urges and divert their energy back into their self or into an endeavor that's going to better themselves. Okay, and I've made some shorts about this, but this is what I'm talking about, right? Controlling the urges, recognizing that the sexual energy, which they talk about this in Think and Grow Rich, which is a book I recommend. It is one of the most powerful energies that we have, which is the urge to want to have sex, right? And with that being said, if you can feel the energy it gives you when you have an urge, right? You feel it, right? And it is in your lower chakras, which is going to be your root chakra, which is going to be next to your stomach, I think, just below your stomach, right? You can feel the energy right there, right? You can feel. It's almost like, yeah, it's just energy. You feel the energy. I can't really explain it anywhere else. You know what the fuck I'm talking about if you're watching this shit. You know what I'm talking about, right? Feel the energy and feel what it does to your body. And instead of indulging within it, or instead of, acting on it, take a step back and say, wow, look at the energy that it's giving me. Breathe in. And here's what I do personally. I try to do as much as I can, right? I try to breathe the energy up. I feel the energy, like I said, about my lower stomach, right? And I feel it slowly going up every time I breathe. Anthony, what the fuck are you talking about, man? No, that's not what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Why you putting it in my damn chat, man? What are you doing, man? What are you doing, man? Come on, Anthony. Somebody get this man up out here. Go ahead and put him in a fucking timeout, KJ, and around. But hear me out. No, it's not. So you're breathing the energy upwards. So this is kind of how I would do it. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You breathe it up, you go, I would say you. And as you're exhaling, the energy is going up. And you want to bring it all the way up to your head, into your focus, into your attention, right? When you do this, you learn to control the beast within. Controlling the beast within is, like I said, is an ability that only the men who succeed at the highest level can do. You see people that, like I said, you hear older men give advice, right? Stay away from women. Don't have a girlfriend. They give you this advice because they've been through it and they've been probably a victim of it. No, this doesn't require meditating. I didn't say anything about meditating. This is just being in the moment, grounding yourself and being present within the self. I would also recommend meditating, which is what I did before this podcast. Which that will definitely help you control your energy and allow you to breathe that energy up into your head, which is, like I said, what I recommend. I've got this game from a few books and stuff like that as well. The books that I would recommend: Think and Grow Rich. This is going to talk about transmutating the sexual energy, which is like I said, the most motivating and powerful energy that is in the world. Also, the book The Way of the Superior Man. 2 books that I recommend. If you cannot read a book, you're a lost cause. I'm gonna leave it at that, right? Your attention span's fucked. You need to do something. You have a problem with yourself. If you cannot read a book, if you cannot sit down and read books and take the knowledge that they give you, you are lacking as a man entirely. Um, Reading books is something that I recommend. I recommend it in many podcasts, but like I said, those books are worth your time for sure. They have so much more game than I could even give you on this podcast. But going back to what I was saying, control the urges because most men can't. They're nothing but a slave to their urges. They're nothing but pretty much a slave to their urges, right? They control them. It's nothing but a beast inside that controls every single action you do, which is sad, but it is what it is. Um, yeah, I'm really that good. I'm really that good. I fucking already talked about my next one without even looking at it, man. That's crazy. Um, you see a lot, like I said, you see a lot of men being slave to their urges, and you see a lot of men not being able to be content being by themselves. Um, they have this like need they have this need to get female validation and their sense of self worth and their sense of self worth and what the hell did I say? Their sense of self worth kind of comes from indulging within activities like trying to chase women or talking to women or wanting to have sex with women or having sex with women. They get their sense of self worth from that, and that is not a healthy way to live your life, right? This period of time that I've had, I've really allowed myself to really evaluate what makes champ champ, and that's not what makes champ champ, right? What makes champ is a whole lot of things, and that is a very 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 small part of it. And when compared to other men, they can't even understand that, can't even comprehend that. Is what I'm saying, right? All right. Um. Yeah, pretty much. I will say the negatives. Here's the negatives, and kind of talked about the negatives a little bit later, right? The negatives of this, I would say, of being celibate, right? The negatives of being celibate look like this. You you almost feel like at times you are lacking something. And what I will say is I am whole by myself, but there's still pieces of the puzzle that I still want to have. Do I need them to be full? No, but they're just an add-on, right? This is going to be the feminine energy. Once you've had that, once you've fully had the feminine energy within your life for an extended period of time, and that is removed from you, you do feel like you lose a piece of yourself. And me being a masculine man, that is obviously what I'm looking for in this life is a feminine woman, right? And not having that by my side at certain points in times makes me feel, like I said, that lonely energy. This is something that comes in waves. It is not always. I could go weeks at a time and not feel this, but sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't happen. But it's something that is I would say is interesting and worth mentioning for the negatives. There's very very few negatives. It's pretty much it's just the quieter nights. There's going to be quieter nights that are had that you know you can't really do anything about it. Where I would say you shouldn't do anything about it. One thing I also really need to be clear on, which I haven't done yet, is how long do I want this period to last? And I haven't came to the conclusion of how long I want it to last. What I will say is I could easily say, as long as it needs to last. I can easily say, until I find a woman of quality who wants to be just on my team and for me. I could easily say that, but I don't know if it's 100% practical. Give me one second. But like I said, I'm done wasting my energy. I'm done wasting my energy on low quality women. It's not worth your pursuit. It's not worth the time, energy, and focus that you give it. Um, which like I said, it also made me realize, hey, what am I focused on? What is consuming the mind, right? And once you begin to evaluate what is consuming the mind, you begin to realize, hey, dude, there's a lot of men lost in the sauce. Even though you might not think that they're lost in the sauce, they might be portraying this image of themselves that is, oh, I'm successful with women. You don't realize how much that is taking away from their focus because they're just focused, like I said, on getting that female validation. When in reality, dude, there's so much more you could be doing with your time and with your life and with your energy and with your focus. And I keep saying focus, energy, time, attention, because these things are super valuable. And the last thing you want to be doing is wasting that on low quality people, let alone low quality women, because it is nothing going to. It's not going to do anything more than just drain you. It's not going to add anything to you. Sadly, it's really not. Adrian, yes sir. What's good, my dog? What's good? Appreciate you for stopping by. Yeah, tap in with me if you want to talk to me. But appreciate you for stopping by. So, like I said, I'm gonna go over all the things that I had said earlier, and I want to hear you guys' opinion on these things. If you're in here, or you just got in here, KJ didn't hear it, but I'm gonna go over all the things that I had mentioned. So, 5 months of celibacy, what has it really taught me? Right. The first thing is I want to make a disclaimer: I'm not an incel. Okay. I get my fair share when I want to get my fair share. I'm not saying that to be cocky. I'm not saying that to be any type of way. I want to put that out there because I have made videos like this in the past, and so he's like, "Oh yeah, he just said he's an incel." No, I'm not an incel. Not an incel. Come on now. I got the game. I got the game. That's all I gotta say. I got the game. I just choose not to fucking play the game. Simple as that. I'm done playing the fucking games. I'm done playing the damn games. Honestly. Um, this period of time that I've had has given me the calmest energy that I've ever had. Of course, there's been spurts where I've had a less than calming energy because I was, missing the feminine energy, which is just a part of being a masculine man. You're going to long for that feminine energy, and being a feminine woman, you know, you're eventually going to long for that masculine man, that that rock for you, right? Or that's as a man, that like I said, just laying down in bed and just chilling, man. Just as simple as that. Just having conversation and being able to take in the energy that a woman gives you. Of course, you're going to long for that in periods of times, which, like I said, is one of the negatives. But definitely have had the calmest energy for sure. All right, getting into the next thing. With this being said, not many. All right, we'll see. Let's see it, fellas. Let's see it. Andrew's texting me. Let's see what you got, big dog. Getting into the next thing, right? Not many men can do this. Not many men can do this, and not many men choose to do this, right? Um, they're usually, like I mentioned earlier, there's going to be two areas where they are. You're either going to be an incel where you cannot get sexual access to women, you cannot get access to the feminine energy, or you do and you choose to indulge within it. There's usually one of two things that you're in, right? There's very, very few men that choose the middle path and say, you know what? Having this fun time with women is entertaining at times, but if it's not with a quality woman or not with quality women, right? It's not worth my energy, time, attention, and focus, right? So this is the route that I've chosen for this period of time in my life. It has given me plenty of rewards. That's what I will say, and yeah, that's kind of why I'm making this podcast on this, right? So, with that being said, you learn to be alone, completely content with being by yourself, which is something that not a lot of men are. If you're an incel, which I'm not, of course, you do feel that, and you can try to deny that you don't need it or you're content with being by yourself. It is really just a lie. Honestly, it's really just a lie. You long for that feminine energy. Don't lie to me. Um, do what you want with that. I would use it as motivation. Work on yourself until you can get the women, right? Simple as that. It's just as simple as that, right? Use it as fuel. Use it as fuel. Um, yeah. Don't. This man's sending me fucking clips right now. Uh, but yeah, use it as fuel. If you are a person who's indulging within this, I would say, you know what, come into the side where you can get a better focus and get a better grasp of life. Because quite frankly, it is needed always. It's always needed. Like I had mentioned, I'm going to have periods of time in my life where I choose to do this once again. Um, I do not know. I do not know how long this one is going to last, and I do not know when the next one will be. But you just gotta enjoy it one day at a time, fellas. One day at a time. Yeah, just being alone by yourself. Not many. There's men that deny it. Like, so this one, I'm gonna go back a little bit. So the men that do get sex, remind me of Sneeko. Appreciate it. I'm better than Sneeko. Let's keep it 1,000. Come on now. Shout out to Sneeko, by the way. Shout out to Sneeko. I'm better than you, honestly. But going back to what I was saying. You learn to be okay by yourself. If you are a man that can't get sexual access, you are in denial, thinking that you can be alone by yourself and not needing women's validation. Go ahead and try it out for yourself and let me know what you think. Right? Um, like I said, not many men can do it, fellas. Not many men can do it. All right. Along with this is what I would deem to be monk mode. Anyone deep into the self development space would realize that this is what monk mode is. It is a period of time where you choose to focus in on yourself and put the work in. And it is different than putting the work in and still getting women. It is different. This is choosing to set aside all the distractions that lie within the world, the easy temptations, the vices, the easy outs. It's avoiding all of these and choosing to, like I said, stay locked in. Put the work in the gym. Put the work in your business. Put the work in at work. Um, don't get easily distracted. And if you get distracted, getting right back on course as usual, right? Um, yeah, this is monk mode, fellas. Monk mode is choosing to do a few set of things. I would say maybe like 5 to 10 things that you can do for a consistent period of time. Me, for example, I can give you my list. This is going to be retention of energy, which we already described. That you already know what time it is. Retention of energy. I've been video editing pretty much almost every single day. Working out six days a week, damn near. What else? Choosing to start my day without my phone. That is another one that has been crazy. Another one for me is getting 10 hours of sleep. What else do I got? What else do I got realistically? Reading 5 days a week. It's been a very, very good one. Meditating, fantastic. There's certain things. Um, don't make the list too big. But yeah, this is something that I think everybody should do in some points in their life. Do you think men in today's society cannot do monk mode? Reason is because nobody or a good majority is willing to put in the work nor go to the ends to achieve the ambitions. Yeah. Um, yeah, I most men can't do it. They're weak. Most men are average, right? Most men are average. Most men are not willing to do it. Most men are not willing to make the sacrifices. Um, yeah, they're not willing to put the sacrifice in. They're not willing to put the work in. There's very, very few people in this world that are actually willing to put the work in. Small, very, very small amount of people that are willing to put the work in. If you can be one of those people, you will be a top 5, top 10% man in, let's just say, a few years. Give it 5 or 6 years for sure. You'll be in the top 10% for sure. Um, these are the sacrifices that you have to make, in my opinion. These are the sacrifices you have to make. You have to realize what season you are in your life, and put your head down, put the work in, man. I say this all the time, and I know I hate to be repetitive, but quite frankly, people need to hear this shit. So, hey, there's certain times you need to go ahead and you need to lock in. For me, for example, and for the reason why I wanted to do this anyways was because um, I was still getting over my ex. I was talking to this one girl, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. I did talk about this on a Saturday podcast. If you know what the fuck I'm talking about right now, fellas, you a real one. Um, Saturday live stream is what I mean. But I talked about this before. But yeah, I stopped talking to her, and she was a very quality woman, I would say. Some would say I fumbled the bag. Others say she would fumbled. But ultimately, what it comes down to is I recognize, if this didn't work out, then I needed to put the time in, put the work in, and understand what season of life that I'm in, and that is exactly what I've done. I've had period of times. I've had within this 6 month. I'll just say 6 month period because it's just around 6 months. I have talked to a few women, but I haven't I really haven't hung out with women like that. I really have not. Compared to what I used to do for sure. And I mean, if you know me personally, I'm just gonna leave it at that, right? Um, but yeah, I've hung out with one woman in 6 months. That is fucking crazy for me. I used to hang out with like one woman like every few days, like every like 2 or 3 days. I was crazy as fuck. And then multiple women, yeah, like I said, it was a crazy time. It was a crazy time for Champ, right? But getting back into it, with monk mode, you have the retention of energy. Do not waste your energy on a little phone screen, right? Do not waste your energy going crazy like a little monkey, right? Don't do this now. Don't do this now. This is goofy. This is goofy, man. Do not be acting goofy. I know you might need to, make sacrifices and control your urges, but that's what you have to do. I think I'm where you are a year ago. This shit is tiring and energy is being drained. Exactly. It's draining, my guy. It is draining. Like I said, recognize what season of life you're in, my dog. Recognize what season of life you're in. Retention, like I said, if you're able to do this, you have my respect for sure. A lot of men obviously get off to call it corn, right? A lot of men get off to corn all the time, right? All the time. It becomes a negative counter loop once you start choosing one activity that is not worth the long term gratification, right? Um, it starts to spiral downward. You start to spiral downward. You start to choose activities that are not going to be worth your time, and this is something that I've seen plenty of times. Um, Months ago, when I or months even years ago when I chose to participate in that negative counter loop, I seen myself choosing activities that are going to be less than, and like I said, those all detract from the focus. But getting back into it, where was I at? Retention of energy. Most men can't do it. Like I said, if you're average, good luck. Good luck doing this shit, right? But if you want to be anything above average, this is something that you're going to need to make the sacrifice. This is a lifestyle. This is not. That is not a season. This is a lifestyle, right? The retention is what I'm talking about, right? This is a lifestyle. Um, Another thing, like I've been mentioning, which has been a theme throughout this podcast, I do not want to waste my time, attention, energy, and focus. These things are very, very important. And like I said, even with temporarily texting women, um, I seen my energy and my attention go to that. I start thinking about that shit more, even though, like I said, I'm just texting her, and I see how my focus is going. I see, oh yeah, I'm thinking about this woman, even though I'm not even seeing her in person. I'm thinking about her a few times a day, and sometimes it's wrong time, right? Wrong time. I need to be focused. I keep thinking about these things, and it's not doing anything for me. It's not doing anything for me. So like I say, you sacrifice that. You sacrifice that right there. Your attention is going to be more sharp. You're going to not get distracted. It sounds a lot easier than to actually do it, but man, it's a hell of a feeling right there. I'll tell you that for damn sure. Um, yeah, I kind of get past that. Yeah, harsh reality. Most men are slaves to their urges and cannot be content by themselves. Learn to be content by yourself. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but if you're able to do it, you're going to be within that top 10%, like I'd mentioned. Realize where your sense of self worth slash self value is coming from. Um, a lot of it, a lot of men's self worth comes from you know validation from women, and once you realize that you are more than just that, if you have all your self worth and you put all your eggs into one basket, when that basket runs when that basket runs low, man, you're going to be feeling down in the dumps. You're going to be feeling less than. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to be feeling depressed. You're going to be feeling all these types of emotions. In reality, you should be content by yourself. And there's going to be a period of time where, let's just say, you make the sacrifice, right? You're not going to be content by yourself. That's okay. Just know that it goes and comes in waves. Recognize that you're just in one of those ruts. In the 5 months that you've been doing it, mm, I don't know how to answer that. The most significant change in your mindset. You know what? I'm like everybody else. You gotta be transparent, man. You have your down days. I don't have them very often now, right? But you do have your down days. You do have your days where you're feeling less than. You get less work done. Um, hmm. at, at how many? I would say maybe like 3 or 4 months in. Probably 3 or 4 months in is when I seen like shit's turning on. So there's going to be a period of resistance, which is something that I talk about in the video, right? The barrier of resistance. There's going to be a period of time where you're going to be trying to implement all these things in or trying to adjust your lifestyle to a certain way. And like I said, I got locked in about 3 or 4 months in, and I've been fairly locked in for the most part. Like I said, you have your down days every here and there. But for me, for example, in the last 3 months, I probably had maybe like four. Yeah, honestly, 4, where I'm not getting any work done at all. 4, it's pretty fucking good. It's pretty fucking good. Outside of weekends and stuff like that, weekdays I've been locked in, boy. I've been locked in like no other man, honestly. Um, Getting back into it, I'm going to talk about a few more things. The negatives, like I said earlier, missing the femininity. This is something that I'm still learning to deal with, and something that will be something that I deal with until I actually have that in my life. Missing the femininity is something interesting. You miss, just having that person to rely on to, kind of unwind and release tension, right? I haven't had that, and you just kind of have to deal with it. You understand that it is a temporary feeling. I would try to transmute what I would seem to be almost negative energy if you're lacking it, right? If you're ever in a feeling of lacking, um, get up and do something. Just change the pattern of behavior that you're doing, right? Do not get down in the dumps. I have done this in the past where I've got down in the dumps and I have, just been like feeling depressed, start listening to Marvin's Room. Y'all know how this shit goes, right? Listen to the fucking jungle, all this, you know what the hell I'm talking about, Brent. You already know what time it is, man. You get into this rut. Oh, honestly, never mind. By Drake, that entire album, wouldn't recommend. This is something that I've done. Like I said, you get into those ruts where you miss the femininity, but you get past it. You get past it, man, and you got to recognize that. You know what? Like I said, this is just your period of time. This is the season in life you're in, and be content with that. Ride the wave, man. Ride the wave, man. That's all I got to say. Other than that, like I said, just the quieter nights, man. That's all it is, right? There's gonna be quieter nights where you're gonna feel like you should be going out or doing something. Put the work in, man. That's how you double down, baby. You double down and say, all right, let's put the work in now. Let's put the work in, man. Um, but yeah, I would say there's very, very few downfalls. If you're able to conquer your urges and stuff like that, there's very, very few downfalls. Um, yeah, very, very few downfalls. If you're able to control your urges, you're gonna be man. Man, trust me, I've been killing the game. I've been killing the game, fellas. I've been killing the game recently. I'm gonna give myself the credit because there's certain things where I will give myself the credit, and that is definitely one of them. Um, yeah, and this period of time of 5 months of celibacy, which I'm gonna wrap it up here soon. It allowed me to really have a deep look at where my focuses are, how easily they can be detracted from, and how easily they can be shifted um, within this period of time. Like I said, you're going to have your off days, just like everybody has their off days. Um, if you have an off day, make sure it's not an off week. The next day, lock in. Do whatever it takes. Fall asleep early, whatever it is. Just get back on a horse. Get ready for the next day. Next day, new opportunity, man. That's kind of how it is, man. It's kind of how it is. But other than that, fellas, one more piece of game that I'm gonna leave you guys off on. Um, one more piece of game. I'll leave you guys off on one more piece of game. Give me a second. Let me think of it. Hmm. All right, I'll give you this. I'll give you this piece of game. I'll see where it goes. One more piece of game that I'm gonna leave you guys off on is this. Develop the self-discipline. Right? There's going to be moments in time where no, I would say no, I won't say moments in time. There's going to be activities where you're going to need to be self-disciplined, right? Um, I've developed my self-discipline at the highest level that it's ever been at this period of time in my life, this 5 or 6 month period of time in my life, where there's days where you don't feel like doing it. There's going to be moments where you don't feel like doing it, but you do it anyways. It's very, very hard to get to that point. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, right? It is hard to get to that point where even when you don't feel like doing it, you still do it, right? It's very hard to get to that point. But once you get to that point, it might feel less than, but trust me, if you're slacking bad, you're gonna wish you were doing that, right? Develop your self discipline. Do the things, put the work in, even when you don't feel like doing it. That right there that shows the true test of where you are as a man. If you can do the things even when you don't want to do it, you beat out your competitors. You beat out the people who you're competing with. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say right there. Develop self discipline. Get your ass in the gym. Start learning a new habit, right? Develop your habits. Make sure your habits are sound. Do not be just, wasting your time, wasting your focus, wasting your energy on leisure activities, playing video games, all doing this bullshit, right? Going on your phone for hours and hours and hours, watching shows, shit like that. If you're doing that, like I said, you're losing sight of where you want to be. Where do you want to be? And if you cannot give up those shits, you're lost. And it's okay. Everybody's lost at certain points in their life, but you need to know why the hell you're doing it. What are you doing it for? What are you trying to accomplish? What life are you trying to live? Answer all these questions. Not many people get the time to answer these questions, which is a tragedy in itself. But if you're able to ask yourself the right questions, like I mentioned on an earlier podcast, people that ask the most brilliant questions get the most brilliant results in life. And it's as simple as that, fellas. This was the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 56, talking about my 5-month run of celibacy and what has taught me. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Make sure to go ahead and leave a like. If you're rewatching this, make sure you go to let me know your favorite part of this podcast. Also, a few last words. Make sure you go and check out the TikTok as well. I've been posting about 3 or 4 times a day, Monday through Friday. So make sure you go ahead and tap in with that. The next podcast will be on Tuesday, and I will have the special guest. I will have my grandma on. I'll have her back on, thankfully, and I'll be having my cousin Dion back. So, yeah, it is definitely a podcast I'm looking forward to. Other than that, fellas, I hope you guys have a great rest of your nights. And like I said, develop the self-discipline, fellas, because where do you want to be as a man? You better get it done, fellas. All right, y'all have a good night. Stay tuned for the next podcast.